listening to the More Movement Crew podcast, Season 3, Purpose Stories. Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee or tea, and enjoy. Welcome to the More Movement Crew podcast. I'm your host, Kenina Porter, and this is episode 4 of the Purpose Stories. And I am so excited that I'm still doing this. I'm still sharing my stories. I still have guests, dope guests that I absolutely love. So if you have not checked out last week's episode with Marcus Harris talking about his story and how his purpose is connected to the work he's doing with his company and his nonprofit, check that episode out and show him some love. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. And go to the More Movement Crew Instagram page, Facebook page, and check us out because we've got some really great work that we're doing and some really inspiring things for you to see and to know. So check us out. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's been a while. I've been doing podcasts, kind of few and far and in between, but I have a new project called The Purpose Project, and that has consumed most of my time. And I am so excited about the outcome of The Purpose Project. We have 12 young people, middle school and high school students that have come together to decide to pursue their God-given purpose. And they log on every 2 weeks for 8 weeks and come together and talk about the things that are important to them, their passion, their gifts, their strengths, and they engage with us and they show up every time and they show up ready to work. And I'm so appreciative of this project, and I know that we are creating 12 young people that are going to be thinking about, why am I here and why did God place me on this earth? And if we could get to start to teaching this generation of young people that in the school system and in our homes and in our churches, can you imagine the type of young people that we would begin to develop and how this world could be affected? And so that is the purpose of the Purpose Project, and it is going well. And if you want more information, visit moremovementcrew.com for more info, or visit our Instagram and Facebook pages, because we are doing some amazing things and God is going to do some great things. This is just the beginning of the Purpose Project and the More Movement Crew and all that God has given me. And so I'm so excited about it. And so the podcast is one part of it, but I haven't forgotten about you guys. I haven't forgot about all of the amazing stories that I still need to tell. And so this is just one story that God told me, remember that time that this happened to you? And I was like, oh yeah, you're right, God. I do need to share that. That's kind of how we have conversations. We kind of talk like that. So he kind of just told me like, hey, I want you to remind the people of this because I reminded you of this. And so I'm going to quickly share a story with you that's not going to take very long, but I feel like it's super important for me to tell it. So on this particular Saturday, I was getting ready for a book signing event that I had promoted online on Facebook. And it was at Barnes & Noble. And I was like, wow, this is an actual, major company. And, I'll probably get a lot of traffic because it's Saturday. And so I was excited. My mom was my assistant for the day, which she usually is. Shout out to Mom. I love you. And so she was helping me get ready. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I had a whole attitude that Saturday. And I don't know why I always fall for the okie doke. I always fall for the distractions and the things that like the enemy wants to put in my way when I'm getting ready to do something purposeful. So that's the whole word in itself. Don't fall for the okie doke, because every time I have an event, something goes wrong. And then I have a whole attitude. And then I have to shift my thinking and I have to say, okay, Lord, I need you to help me because I have a whole attitude. So I had an attitude. I don't know, maybe my hair wasn't right. Something went right. Then something didn't get printed. And so I had to do a last minute run to like Staples to get that printed. That was taking forever. I remember the lady at the counter was moving so slow. And I was like, I've got to go. You moving slow. So that didn't make it any better. Then I got breakfast and I just kept this funky attitude. And I'm just like, man, God, I thank you that you're patient with us because we be in a mood for just no reason. So I had an attitude. And I go to Barnes and Noble. We get set up. I'm trying to get my mind right. I'm trying to get it together, but I still kind of have a little attitude. And I'm at the table. People are coming by the table. They are, engaging with me, asking me about the book, having conversations. Not a lot of people purchasing the book, but I'm still getting, a fair amount of engagement with people. So we're sitting there, and as I'm sitting there, I've probably been there maybe about an hour. My brother shows up to show me some support. My sister shows up. And so my mom and I are sitting at the table. We're sitting down at the book table, and then my brother and my sister are standing up behind me. And this lady walks in. She's an African American lady, older, walks into Barnes and Noble, and she walks past my table really, really fast. She looks at the table, she walks past my table really fast, and she goes to Starbucks. And then I was just like, okay, didn't even think anything of it. I don't even know if I noticed her at the time. And so maybe about 30 minutes pass, and she comes back to my table, and she stands there. Nobody else is at the table. And she stares at me for a couple of seconds, didn't say anything. And I mean, whose reaction would be like, okay, this lady, I don't know, is sitting here staring at me. This is weird. I'm uncomfortable, but I'm going to smile and be gracious because I don't know this lady, right? I don't know what she's going to say. So she stands there. She looks at me for a couple seconds. And then she says, quit playing. And I was like, excuse me? She's like, quit playing. God says, quit playing. You know the things that he's called you to do, and you know what you're supposed to be doing, and you're playing. Quit playing. And she said it just like that, like she was my mother. And she said that God has put things in you that you're supposed to be doing, and you're playing. You're not taking this opportunity serious. You're not taking the vision that he has given you seriously, and you need to stop playing. She said, I was going to go get my Frappuccino, and God told me to tell you this. And I was like, no, I'm not going to tell her. And I got my Frappuccino, and I came back. And I came back to tell you this. Quit playing. And when she said that, my mom was silent, my brother was silent, and my sister was silent. And we all stood there, and we looked at her. And I think everybody in that moment felt that. Like, man, she was checking not just me, she was checking everybody that was at the table with us, that we all needed to quit playing. And so I took that, and I just started to cry. I started to cry because I knew that was a word from God. And I knew that I was sitting there with an attitude. I had all the resources. I had all these things that God told me to do. And I was just worried about the wrong things, wrong about how many people were going to buy the book, and are these events a waste of my time, and I don't have the resources and the money to do this. And so I was playing. And so when she told me that, I started to cry. And then she started to share with me her story, that she was in the military, and that I believe her husband passed away. And she has been dedicated her life to ministry and to helping people. And she gave me her information and her phone number. And her name is Bernice. So shout out to Bernice. Matter of fact, I need to text you and send you a copy of this episode. But Bernice told me to quit playing. And so that resonated with me. And when she told me that, I realized that there was definitely more to what I was supposed to be doing. And that really, God never even told me to do these events, right? That's how sometimes we can get so off from what he's telling us to do. He didn't even say, I want you to go out here and sell these books. He said, I want you to write the book, put the word out, share it with as many people as you can, but focus on the rest of the things I called you to do. And so now here I am, finally understanding that the More Movement Crew was that, this podcast was that, the Purpose Project was that. All of those things is what he called me to do. The book will sell itself. I'm not worried about the book, right? It's going to get into the hands of the people God wants it to get into the hands of. I'm not supposed to be chasing wealth and numbers and likes and followers, but I'm supposed to be engaged in doing what God has called me to do. And I need to quit playing with the gift and the message that he gave me. So that is the story that I want to share with you. And if you feel like you haven't been given 110% to what God has called you to do, I encourage you to quit playing. I'm here to tell you, quit playing. And when I say that, if God has called you to speak something in truth that may hurt, that may go against what everybody else is saying, say it, right? Because he is going to have your back when you do. So I hope this story has blessed you. It has encouraged you, and that you decide to like quit playing with what he gave you, because God is a God that has our back in so many ways. And that when you do the things that he has called you to do, he is going to meet every need that is necessary for it to happen. And I am a testament to that right now. So have a wonderful weekend, and don't forget to quit playing and to do what God has called you to do, right? Let's take the seriousness of our purpose and work to create impact and to change the world. So thank you for tuning in to this episode. I pray that you are blessed by this message. And don't forget to like, to subscribe, and share. And until next time, be blessed.